Let's take a moment to really think about the world we live in. We've got issues, big ones: poverty, inequality, climate change, injustice, just to name a few. And what's our go-to response? We often look to our governments, right? We think, surely they'll figure it out. They have the resources, the power, the connections. But let's pause and ask ourselves, can they really solve these problems? I mean, can they truly get to the root of what's plaguing humankind? Here's the thing. Governments are like a giant ship navigating through a storm. They can steer, they can adjust the sails, but the reality is they're often stuck in the very confines of their own structure. They're bound by bureaucracy, by political agendas, by the voices of the loudest interest groups. And in the process, they lose sight of the real issues. They might throw money at a problem, create a new policy, or set up a committee, but these are often just band-aid solutions. They don't dig deep enough to tackle the underlying causes. Let's take poverty as an example. Governments can roll out aid programs, set up food banks, and create social safety nets. And yes, these efforts provide immediate relief to those suffering. But what happens when the aid runs out, when the food bank shelves are empty? Those programs don't address the systemic issues that keep poverty alive and well, like income inequality, lack of access to quality education, or the healthcare disparities that leave so many behind. Without tackling these root causes, poverty becomes a cycle, a revolving door that people can't escape from. And it's not just poverty. Think about climate change. Governments can sign treaties, set emission targets, and promise to go green by a certain date. But if we don't change the way we live, the way we consume, and the way we think about our planet, those promises mean little. We can't just rely on political action to save the Earth. It requires a collective shift in mindset, a cultural revolution of sorts, where every individual feels empowered to make a difference. Now, I'm not saying that government action is useless. It's essential, of course. But it's not the silver bullet we hope it to be. Real change comes from the ground up. It comes from communities banding together, from grassroots movements sparking conversations, from individuals taking responsibility for their actions. It's about us recognizing that we have the power to create change in our own lives and in our communities. Think about it. When we come together, when we share our stories, when we lift each other up, we create a ripple effect. One person's action can inspire another, and before you know it, you've got a movement. It's in those local spaces where real solutions can be born. It's in the conversations we have over coffee, the community gardens we plant, the initiatives we start to educate and empower others. So, let's stop waiting for politicians to save us. Let's stop placing our hopes in the hands of people who may not even understand the struggles we face. Instead, let's take ownership of our world. Let's engage with our communities, challenge the status quo, and push for change that resonates with the heart of the issues we care about. It's time to realize that the power to solve the problems of humankind lies not in the halls of government, but in the hands of the people. It's us who can drive change, one step at a time, and create a better world for everyone.